Welcome to my Switching, Routing, and Wireless Essentials course. This should be the CCNA version 7 curriculum. This is the second of 3 courses. Alright, so welcome. Here we're doing lab 13.1.10, configuring a wireless network. I opened up the lab and that's all that's been running. So, like normal, run through the introduction, and if there's any background information, read through it. So right now I'm starting with part 1, connecting to a wireless router. So connect the admin to the WR. So we have an admin station. So through the admin, use a straight through Ethernet cable. Click, alright, so I'm going to go ahead and load my cable straight through admin. And I'm going to go ahead, it doesn't say which port to configure. Oh, ETH1. Connect to the available, will act as a switch. So we're good. Admin is now connected to the gig 1. When packet tracer displays the green triangle on both sides, we can log in. If no green aisle goes, fast forward. I'll just wait a second while it goes to process. Alright, so it took like a minute before it did it. So step 2, configure the admin using DHCP. So I'm going to go to the admin station, go to my desktop, IP configuration, change my IPv4 to DHCP, and it got my request. So what's the IP address? It's going to be this address right here. What's the subnet? That's what was assigned. This was the default gateway. No DNS was set. Step 3, connect to the WR web interface. I'm going to go to the web browser. I'm going to go ahead and type in the IP address that it wants, 165.200.225. Oh, nope, sorry, I was doing the wrong step. 192.168.0.1. Alright. Admin for both the username and password. Make sure I didn't fat finger that. And there it is. Alright, so I'm going to be setting up this information. Basic setup page. Here we have DHCP. Here's the range we want. Here's the address. So is the IP address of the admin within this range? Yes, it was actually the first usable. So we are good there. Step 4, configuring the internet port of the wireless router. So first thing is first, basic setup. We're going to change this to a static IP address. Our internet address is 209.165.200.225. Subnet's at 255.252. Default gateway is 209.165.200.226, that's fine. DNS is 209.165.201.1. Go to the very bottom, save my settings. If we get a request timeout, that's fine. So to verify connectivity, open up a new web browser and navigate to cisco.pka. Alright, it took a few minutes, but the green triangles eventually did pop up. So settings are successful. So to verify connectivity, open up a new web browser and navigate to cisco.pka. So 123.cisco.pka. I'm just going to close out of all of it and just retype it. 123 Cisco.pka. And it does load. So we are good there. So part two, I'm going to scroll down so I just have the next part. Configure the wireless settings. So we're going to get back to our wireless device. 192.168 dots. What was the address again? 0.1. All right. 0.1. Admin, admin. So step 2 was configure wireless security. Go to wireless. Under the 2.4, select our appropriate security. So here we have our network modes. Here we have our channels. Here we have wireless, the different wireless options, the wireless security. Here we have the different ranges. So let's go back. So we're talking 2.4 is going to use WPA2 personal. We're going to be using AES, and we're going to use the phrase Cisco 123. All right, doesn't like that. So Cisco 123 exclamation, and we're going to go ahead, go to the bottom, and save. Verify the settings in the basic wireless settings and wireless security page are correct. Oh, actually, when I was doing this, I had scrolled down too far. I completely missed step 1. So basic wireless settings, we can do back. We're going to go ahead and change the 2.4 to A company. So I just did step 1 and step 2 backwards. That's all. 2.4, notice this it is case sensitive. We're setting it to channel 6. For this activity, we're going to go ahead and disable IPv, or the 5 gigahertz. We're only doing the 2.4 gigahertz. That's fine. So we did this, we did this, we did this, we did this. So we are good. We're going to save it again. All right, so connect the wireless client. So we're going to go to our laptop 1. We will select, go to the desktop and select PC wireless. From here, we will go ahead and hit connect, hit refresh, and we will give it a minute. Oh, we have A company. There it is. On channel 6. We will connect. We will put in the password. Active is the password. We should be getting our information now. All right, and it does show appropriate signal strength and whatnots. And you'll see that we get our bars there. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and back out of laptop 1. So step 2 is done. So next, we're going to go ahead and we're going to go to, this guy is done. So we need to go ahead and verify our web portal can be accessed, and we're going to do the same thing for laptop 2. So I'm going to do laptop 2 first. Wireless, connect, refresh. Let's see the networks. A company, perfect. We're going to connect. Cisco 123 explanation. Make sure it connects, and it does. I'm going to go to my web browser, 123 Cisco.pka, and it loads. I'm going to go back to my laptop 1 just to double check. Okay. And it also loads. So we've done all of the steps in step 3. So part 3, connect the wireless clients to an access point. So we need to configure the access point first. Connect port 0 of the AP to an available Ethernet port of the wireless router using a straight through cable. So AP, I will connect it to gig 0 or to gig 2. I'm going to let it connect, and then we will continue on configuring. Alright, so it's done. So we've done that part. So click on the AP, go to configure. We see that we have a AP. Go to settings, go to port 0, go to port 1. Enter the SSID. So port 1, we're going to go ahead and change the SSID to a company. We're going to go ahead and select WPA2 Enterprise. Sorry, WPA2 pre-shared key. We're going to set our key, Cisco 123. And in the passphrase, keep AES, that's fine. Cover range, fine. Doesn't say anything about modifying the channel, so I will keep that. So it looks like I've done all of those steps. So we're going to connect laptop 3 to the access point. Desktop, wireless, connect, refresh. So we're going to see whichever one has the stronger signal. Happens to be the one on channel 1, that's the access point. I'm going to connect to it. Cisco 123. Connect. And it does connect. Go to my web browser. Navigate to cisco.pka. And it does work. So this part is done. Step 2 is done. Let's go ahead. Let's finish up our admin portion. So part 4, change the wireless access on our admin PC. I'm going to go ahead and go back to my web browser. Admin and admin. All right. So we need to change the router password. Go to administration. There is our router password. Use the username admin and a new password Cisco. All right, so we will save it and type in our new password. So that takes care of step 1. Step 2, change the DHCP address range. So it was 192.168.0.0. We want to change that to our 50 range. So what we want to do is change that to 50. Starting address should be fine. And so once you hit save, you'll start noticing everything is with our new 50 address. That took a minute, but we are not connected to the new address for the router. If you hit enter, it won't work. Our IP information is showing the incorrect information. So we got to give it a minute. Let DORA happen, and we need to request a new IP address. So DHCP is still failing. You just got to give it a minute. All right, so there it goes. So we've done our addresses. Oh, we have to make sure the addresses start at 100, and there are 50 available. .192.168.50.1 admin and Cisco. We want to make sure that our address starts at 100. So that needs to be fixed. Scroll down to the network setup. Verify that 50.1 is there. Start at 100. Since our address was renewed at 50.2, it's outside the scope, so we gotta wait to get a new address. Alright, there it goes. It just took a few minutes to refresh. Web browser, get back, 192.168.50.1, admin, Cisco. So our pool is there. Add a second DNS to the DNS server. Or add the DNS to the server with DHCP 209.165.201.1. Scroll down, save it, back out, go to IP configuration, go to static, go to DHCP, request a new address. This is similar to like disabling your NIC and re-enabling it. It's going to take a minute for the new information to trickle down. So DHCP back to static, back to DHCP. And normally this time it will pull the right address. Alright, so it's still failed, so I'm going to give it a minute and try again. Alright, so I gave it some time, it's still failing. I'm going to close out of this, go to my terminal. All else fails. If you cannot refresh it that way, you can go to your command terminal and type ipconfig/renew. And this also works for renewing your IP address. And if it fails, again, we just got to give it some time for it to actually pull the correct information. Alright, so I'm going to try that again. If you are continuously getting the failures and they're not working, you can statically assign yourself an address and double check the configuration. Make sure that 50.1 is selected, and make sure that you are starting at 100 and that you set 50 available. One thing I do notice is that as you scroll down to the saving portion, oftentimes it doesn't save the information correctly. Like it's pulling the wrong address for me, but it pulled a 50 address. So I can go back and I can look at the router. Let's go. So 50.100, I want the starting address to be 100. I want there to be 50 max addresses. Yeah, see, this is where you have to be careful. Scrolling down sometimes will shift the subnet mask. And I should lose my address, and I may have to get a new one, so I'm going to pause while it refreshes. Alright, so it pulled the correct address. I'm also going to do the same thing from the command terminal, and it pulled a 50.100 address. That's fine. So what's the IP address of the admin computer? It's 50.100. I'm going to go to my web browser and make sure I can see cisco.pka. And I can. All right, last step, go to each of the computers. Let's refresh because they still have the old information. We can either go to the command terminal or refresh via DHCP. It doesn't really matter. 123.cisco.pka. It works. Laptop 2. It pulled a 50.100 or 102 address. 123.cisco.pka. It worked. Go to the last device. Refresh the address. Pull the 50.103 address. Go to the web browser. 123.cisco.pka. Go, and it worked. So notice that laptop 1 connected to the access point instead of the wireless router. More than likely, it's probably going to be signal strength is probably going to be the main reason. All right, I'm going to hit completion 100%. I'm going to click check results. 20 out of 20, everything are green check marks. So that is this lab in a nutshell. A little bit of troubleshooting, but we were able to get through it. If you have any questions, please reach out.